have a catalog. Somewhere with the house.
I don't know. There's really this like, it's like, this is really good. I've never been to Zibell.
Yeah.
So, he just
A lot of
said,
places I've never been.
Morning.
information came.
Yeah.
So it's the people, just to see.
Sure, like Chris.
There were only 3 people there.
Oh.
And so, I didn't answer. After this. I didn't answer.
I don't know.
I'll see it.
Yeah.
I can't.
Coffee day.
I heard it.
I just printed it off and sure it was
No.
so many copies
Yeah, I'm good.
from Jessica.
You sent it to all of us. You didn't give it to us.
Oh, it's on commission.
Yeah. Where was he?
So you're on charge. Morning, Tom.
Morning.
How are you?
All right. You.
It's Monday.
One left for you?
No, I work sandals, so I'll sit down here.
Call here. Go live.
She is my birthday. I had to take her down to
She made some changes last
I
night.
won't go right now.
We have to do that. Sure. I've restored it.
You just take him today or?
He's been in the house, but she said that he'd be like that since he's got home. So
I got you.
we're getting. Sure.
All right, I've got 9 o'clock, called meeting order to pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written. So been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We have a proclamation today from the American Legion Auxiliary. It's a Poppy Day proclamation. Go ahead and read this. Whereas America is a land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. Whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle. Whereas a nation of peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war. Whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, the Commission of Jackson County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim this 22nd day of May 2026 as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. I would entertain a motion to approve the Poppy Day proclamation for Jackson County, Kansas.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded to approve the Poppy Day proclamation for Jackson County, Kansas. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Ladies, would you like to say anything?
Well, just come out and see us on the 40 days on the 23rd. We'll have a table outside and we'll get set up at 7-Eleven on the 22nd, which is National Poppy Day.
All right. And we do appreciate everything you guys do, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's that? There's been some misinformation that has been put out that this commission terminated the Director of Public Works. We did not terminate the Director of Public Works or the minutes, and you can go back to last week's minutes and find that out. We accepted his resignation, so I would appreciate if whoever is putting that out, they would change that because it is totally false and misleading. I got called about that several times last week. All right, let's see. We have a communication from Northeast Kansas Environmental concerning wastewater running into the ground. That they sent a complaint that they sent a letter to.
From Valerie, right?
Yes,
I'm reading that.
concerning that one, yeah. Concerning that problem. So I'll pass this down.
Good to see you, Jess.
Yeah, I'm reading.
Okay. You're welcome. And we have a communication from Soldier Ball, signed by all the kids who play ball for Soldier, thanking us for the $2,500 for the Ball Association.
You're right, Sue.
That's totally right.
It is, all the ones on
And have we had any other interest in the second judicial district?
Yes, there is one other.
There's one other, I have one here.
Yeah, and I visited with an individual this weekend that is interested and they want to send a letter.
Okay.
I'm waiting on that.
Perfect, so we'll wait on that. So I'll give that back to you.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Is that, you know, what they were looking for? I wasn't able to get back on this computer.
I think that was, it looked like they were already talking to you.
Yeah,
So
I
I think,
thought-
yeah, I think that's good. Not worried about it, so. They'll get it straightened out.
Is there a time that I can talk to you about some of that stuff?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if there's, is there something Rich doesn't even know about? Or
Oh, I just wanted an opinion on some stuff. Nothing like super. I don't know if it's something to put up or not.
Well,
Just catching up on it a lot of it.
okay. Just trying to figure out how to do this because it's pretty, I'm here, whenever.
If you guys want to sit down, have a conversation. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But
7 minutes now, so.
Yeah.
We're good. That's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do with this? Just do this up in the paper, and register?
Yeah, that's the entrance.
Yeah.
So I think it just needs your signature.
Oh, just need signature? Okay. So, get that.
I think Jen has it.
Yeah.
And it's on my paper of contacts.
Okay.
Alright, Joe, what you got?
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Great.
Okay. So last week, I went in representation of the Jackson County to the court for an incident. The defendant hit our guardrail, so I had to go, and the intention was to plead the breakdown of what we charged them, but the defendant did guilty, so I didn't have to do that. But we did go.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we get reimbursed for that.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Then I gave a quote out to the sheriff's department last week about a gentleman hit one of our, there was a school bus that had a sign, and it only ended up being like $80, but we did a quote for the sheriff, Deputy Martinez, who asked for it, and sent it, we gave it to him. Well, we gave it to the building.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that one goes. We spoke with Brandon Ebeck from Master Tech this week. I think one of you guys met him at
The convention.
he came and introduced himself. He didn't really have anything to present to us. He just introduced himself and told us
Yeah, I think you just want to make contact.
that he was available. But they're out of Wichita, which doesn't exclude him from anything. But it was insightful. We sent the right-of-way signatures to you guys.
Yes. And you have no problem with this?
Yeah, we will let that all and if I'm
Okay. I just got the one. Is there more than one?
made it up with
Yeah, there's just the one here.
there's another one out there somewhere, but
Okay.
it's already
All right, if you have no problem with it, then I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this.
Thank you.
What you do is look at that and see what it is.
we went upstairs to Erin and she gave us through IP pathway, we got access to that email. Get the information. And then also, hazardous waste, their department, they had some stuff that when we applied for that, we were happy with that. The W4, the first bridge, they completed it. We'll fill it in today and then they can start on the next bridge. We didn't want to do both at the same time, so that way we can access that. Not the like the graveyard, with the graveyard there. So you had to have access to it, so we can't do both. We put a tube in at 278 in J4, Crossroad 2. This week we have Bob and Jason working on our dust control. We still need to we haven't made contact with the vendor that's doing that, so we don't know when, but the roads, besides the roads that were hit from our storm, where everything's getting ready, and those ones weren't terrible either, but we did, that was a pretty big hit for us, so.
Especially in the south end down there.
It hurt.
A lot more rain.
We're waiting on Haydite for the patcher, so we're doing what we can for our we don't have to mention that. Chip and seal. We're prepping those roads, but we're waiting for the Haydite to patch it. Hopefully this week it'll be in. And then the maintenance world, there's no major maintenance concerns. There's a couple oil changes this week. We have our Colorado that needs one, master truck, and I don't think there was maybe one motor grader that needed one. It's pretty slow for them. I mean, there's catch up work, plenty stuff to do, but nothing major concerns.
What about the truck, the motor they were rebuilding? Where are they at in that process?
There's still being work. I think there's still waiting on the parts.
The what?
I think there's waiting on the parts. I can't swear to it. I'll get that to you.
Yeah, if you want to just let us know on that.
So W Road is finished. I might have to look at one of the curves. I've already heard complain about the curve. I drove it before we finished it. I thought it would be, but
Too high, not high.
it's angled a little. The concern was with the way it goes, it'll tip one way then the other. It's a tip hazard potentially. Well, I'll look at it, but hitting that,
It's done.
It's done.
Okay. So everybody's going back to their district,
Yes.
blade roads today.
Well, he's gone today. Ethan's gone today. But yeah, they're going back to the districts. We should have this week all 12 going. Just to catch up on all the damages from the washouts and stuff. With Jerry, Richard, a little bit of Jason and Braden and Ethan's areas are all hit pretty significantly. Yeah, but we've caught up a lot already, and we've recovered what we can, but we just spent a lot. So our budget's at the W Road, $43,443.03, and then our regular rock is at $528,116.71. Concerns?
I've not had any road concerns. I did have a call from a constituent that thought that they had seen personal trucks being parked down here at the shop again, our trucks being driven out to Road and Bridge. I thought we got that dipped in the bud. That's happening again.
What is it?
We have an employee that's parking down here at the bridge yard and getting in the dump truck and driving out there, rather than parking the dump truck out there and driving his personal vehicle out there. They thought they saw him the other day doing it again. So I want to be able to answer what's going on, if that's true or not, so.
Well, there's 2 dump truck drivers up there, but the only reason they come up to our shop is to drop off their tickets for donating once a week. They might come up, so they have to do it. Well, they could give the tickets to Matt if we want to nip that in the bud. So
Say we were for them, if they just turned it into,
yeah.
if they're working for Matt, they should be able to just turn them into Matt, and then he can.
So usually they do they'll fill out the paperwork and stuff up there too, but we can run it through Matt just to avoid those things. The main thing would be like if they had to come up there to write a leave slip or something.
Okay.
But yeah, we can fix that.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Okay, so I got a list.
Your area's pretty good.
Yeah, but Jason's doing a great job.
Yeah.
I actually talked to him last week there. He's doing a great job getting retrieving some material out of the ditches and washouts and stuff. Talked to Tim Morris about 94th and V, a bridge that's out. We have that barricaded.
94 and B,
He thought it was V, yes.
it's 10 Morris.
Yeah, the sheriff.
Sure.
He said that road and bridge should have, he thought was contacted. So
It needs to be cleaned.
he believes so. The enough water went through it. It needs to be checked for its structural integrity.
Okay, I'll look at it after this.
Yeah,
If it's like that, then yeah, we know that one.
yeah. We need to get an engineer out there to take a look at it and figure out what's going on with it. And he said V, but it may be, he was unsure about the V. So, 134th and 75, right there at the highway, when you turn to go east on 134th, there's a sign that has a resolution number on it that states that's not a through route to commercial traffic. That sign's gone and the post is gone. I don't know if the stub's gone, but the sign and the post is gone.
There's no vehicle on that.
In 75. So it was between, well, 75 highway and the top of that first little hill there, is where it was located at. So if you can check on that, and then an address of an individual at 11318 P4 Road. 2 was completely plugged after this water ran out around his tube and cut the road. And I told him there was a possibility we could get somebody down there with the washout machine and get blood out. He said the tube's fine, he thinks, he just needs to be cleared.
You know,
Yes.
yeah, we've got a lot of those.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, and I told him that. He said if you get a bunch down in that area, that's when the right time to come.
Yeah. I know.
But just get it on the list somewhere. And then dust control, they were out marking for residential and for the other.
Yes.
Okay, so will you have a time frame today of when that will start? Because we were under the impression the outfit out of Zibell would be able to start sooner. Can you reach out to them and then get back with us and give us a tentative date?
That's
I bet.
Zibell or Home City?
Well, maybe Home City, yeah.
Yeah.
And that way, I've had several people call me and said, well, hey, I see the flags are up.
Yeah, we put them last week.
When's it start? I said I would try to get a tentative date, and then what we can do is we can put on our Facebook page, this is the tentative date so that people can see that and then we answer some of those questions. That's all I have.
And we've been prepping roads, getting, well, I know you work down south and everything, but that's going to be the next.
They were prepping roads. We were prepping it before the storm, so a couple of roads got hit. So they might need a little help, but yeah, we got ran those roads.
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
that'll be great.
All right, well, sounds good, appreciate it.
I got a quick question. I tried to contact Hands last week and got like a general message box to Martin Marietta. and I guess I'm just kind of, do you guys have any direct contact with somebody, like you get bills or something from hands? You just like have somebody email me invoice, statement, something. I might have to end up tracking it down some other way.
You just need a contact
For Martin Marietta, probably. I mean, or whoever doing the hymns for it. I mean, I don't know who, you know, if you call up the number online and it just says, Martin Marietta here, leave your message. Not even like a receptionist. So,
Yeah, I'll let him know too.
yeah, it might help me to kind of backtrack something if they don't answer me, which I try to be nice, but sometimes they don't come back. Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Or Bethany.
Morning.
Morning, Bethany.
Morning.
$9:30. Come on up.
I had a couple of things I wanted to chat with you guys about as our budgets are becoming due here soon.
Yep. Fun times.
Fun times, yes. I received an email from the Attorney General's office last week. We have gone up again in tiers for our appeals because we have too many. So they have a tier system. I actually printed it out, a fee structure. So depending on how many appeals you have, that's how much they charge you in the contract. And they said, the tier level is based on your average number of docketed appeals over the last 3 years. Based on our numbers provided by the clerk of the appellate court, our average was 16, even though we had 20 the previous year. It averaged out to 3 years at 16. In the most recent year, we had 26 docketed appeals, and that caused our average to bump up to 20, which caused us to go from a tier 6 to a tier 7. So I did print that out for you guys. So the Attorney General's contract this year has gone up to tier 7, which is $32,775.
So if I understand it right, that $32,000 is what?
Because the Attorney General handles the appeals?
Yes, so that's what their contracted price is.
That's what their contracted price is. Okay.
Are they required to do that, or is that just a choice you guys make? If you choose to do it yourself?
I could, I've never handled appellate work, so
Okay, well, just-
it would not be something I would be comfortable doing, but, and I think with 26 docket appeals, that would certainly be something that we would have to hire a separate position for, which, you know, you can't get a full-time position for someone at 32,000. So I still think it's beneficial for our office to engage in services with them. I think they do a really good job. That's what they specialize in. I think these attorneys only handle appellate work, so I think we're in much better hands with the Attorney General handling that than hiring someone ourselves to do it.
So, now I got a question. So the how many total cases did your office handle last year then?
I have to look at our numbers. I
Yeah,
didn't bring that
just
with
a,
me,
just a
but,
guess. I'll take a guess, you know what I mean? I'm just curious about something.
gosh, including like traffic, I have no way of knowing without looking at my numbers.
And the reason I'm asking is because average 16 over the last 3 years, that's really not that many for the number of cases that we do handle.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it ebbs and flows because obviously defendants are entitled to appeal if they want. So some years, you know, we may have more than others. So that may be something that drops back down
Right.
eventually. I think it was just the 1 year that we had 26 that bumped us up. So it's possible maybe next year it will go back down. But
Okay.
there's really no way of knowing because
Yeah,
it really is
yeah.
just up to the defendants whether or not they want to do that.
Sure.
So,
My point was it really average 16 over the last 3 years, because I'm sure you handle, what, 400 or 500 cases a year.
at least, yes.
So the 16 appeals is not, in my opinion, is really not out of line.
I would have actually expected more than that, so when they said even 26, that wasn't shocking to me,
Yeah.
just even, you would see more, I would say, felony cases being appealed, because those are the ones that matter more to people and
Sure.
carry significant sentences and whatnot. And even then, I know we have 250 or more of those, so, a lot of criminal appeals, so I don't think 26 even sounds high.
Right.
So,
Okay.
that's not shocking to you, but I did want to let you know, because I know last year they bumped us up to tier 6, and then this year they're bumping us up again to tier 7, so that is something that I'll be requesting in my budget, just because of contracted price.
Okay.
And then, I know last time I was here, we talked about a third attorney position and how I would be requesting one at the end of next year. So September, October, November, December for next year, and then a full year after that. So 2027, requesting just 4 or 5 months of a salary, and then a full salary for 2028. I did continue to look at the Kansas County and District Attorney's website for some similar positions that are open and what they're kind of advertising the salary range to be. So I've continued to print off everything that I've noticed, just ranges, but in particular I printed out just the general listings, the Bourbon County Attorney in Fort Scott, and the Harvey County Attorney, Newton. And I wanted to just provide those postings to you guys so that you kind of get an idea of the salary range for those. Is not really out of line with what I've requested for the attorneys here. So I wanted to provide you with just some listings, different things. Mhm. And then I also had Judge Merrick write a letter as well advocating for a third attorney position and just the need to do that. I know I told you guys last time, but they have now misdemeanor traffic docket on Monday and then every other Thursday. And on those every other Thursdays that we have misdemeanor traffic, we also have our felony docket, which is one of our busiest days of the week. We have felony docket every other Thursday and Friday. And that is at the same time as our misdemeanor traffic. So right now, we have some interns covering. They've been gracious to cover our misdemeanor docket, and the judges have said that that's fine. Obviously, with finals, they're stepping out to study,
Sure.
which is creating a gap for us next week. We do have some summer interns, which I'm excited about. So we should have coverage for that most of the time, but there are times, like I told you guys, where we just don't have the coverage to cover the court that we have scheduled. So I did ask Judge Merrick to write a letter for you guys to consider that third attorney position. And so I do have that for you as well.
Thank you. Do you know, Bethany, is there been any conversation either with the judge or anybody about additional money that would help support this? You know, I had a conversation with Representative Camp 2 years ago about trying to utilize money that is put aside out of the lottery system, right, legislation that would help offset the counties who have casinos in them in Kansas who have seen a spike in criminal activity. He wrote that legislation, it went nowhere. I really, I think it would be beneficial, and that doesn't solve the immediate problem, but I think it would be beneficial. These legislators have to hear from you,
Yes.
they have to hear from the judges.
Yes.
And it's got to be, I don't want to say forceful, but they've got to understand the position a county like Jackson County is in
Right.
with the amount of crime that is directly related, documented through the sheriff's department, to having a casino in our county.
Yes.
So that would be something I would really appreciate you guys being able to do, write letters, both Senator Bowser.
Yes.
Craig is fantastic. He will bend over backwards to work with us. I'll reach out to him and have a conversation with him, but if you guys could write letters to him,
Yes.
lay out the situation for him, then I'll have a conversation with him and to see what he can do, because I think he sits on a committee that could maybe help with that.
That'd be great, yeah.
So,
That'd be
and
wonderful.
I know the season's over now, they're out until next year, but now's when we can do some work between now and next January to get something maybe that would help offset that.
Yes,
So,
I'd be happy to do that.
perfect.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the interns we have, I think I told you guys this, but they have Washburn has a rural externship program. So I have started engaging in that. So that is the extern that we select from Washburn is a full-time summer employee here, but they get paid through the law school. And they also get credit hours for
On the job.
for their time. So they're getting paid from the law school and they're getting their credit to be here full time. So we're getting a full-time employee at no cost to the county, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And so we are engaging in that every single summer. We also have another employee or intern that will be here more often in the summer as well. But one of them is the rural extern. So that's a cost that's not coming out of the county budget, which I think is great. And then they also passed the Rural Initiative legislation this year. That is a prosecutor-friendly legislation where if you go to, I think, Washburn or KU Law School, and you agree to work in a rural county, I think as a prosecutor or potentially defense, I haven't obviously worked on that side, but if you agree to do that at least 12 months after you graduate, then they will pay up to $3,000 a school year, I think, in tuition reimbursement. And then there's also potential for loan forgiveness. So that's all new legislation because I know we've had a lot of turnover here with our county attorneys, assistant county attorneys, and like I told you guys, salaries not being competitive cause people to move on eventually. But a lot of the rural counties in western Kansas are having major issues with getting anybody willing to be prosecutors or defense. So they're having issues getting any coverage at all. And so this is an attempt to, I think, make it more appealing to the law students to potentially start practicing in rural jurisdictions. And so that I'm hopeful will provide some relief to our potential applicants. So that's new as well. We are applying for a victim witness advocate this year through a grant. And so that's exciting, but I think last time I was here, we talked about the office space that we have. Right now we have 3 offices one for the interns, one for Amy, and one for myself, and then we have the main space. We do have that extra room that's kind of off over by the bathroom that's unfinished. And it was my anticipation that we would finish that room for the victim witness advocate. And so we had kind of talked about working with Pat and getting some bids to see how much it might cost to just finish that room off. It's part of the old jail, so it actually has some drywall started on it, but it would take just a little bit of finishing. So I did have Roush Construction come and give me a bid for the drywall and the electrical. And so he was nice enough to do that. I do have that estimate, and it would be my hope that I could get it approved to just use some of the money from our outlay that we had left over, even from just last year, to finish off that room for our victims.
And you have enough in there to cover that.
Yes.
Yeah, my different copy.
Yes. And I think I would have to figure out the air situation because there's not heating and cooling.
I can't hear the conversation out there, if they could hold it down or just maybe shut the door a little bit. The echo just kills us here.
So I,
Thank you, I'm
no,
sorry.
you're fine. So I don't think that bid includes heating and cooling, and there's not central air to that office space right there. There's just a vent in the wall. So we have to address that, which I think we would do separately through modern air or something like that. But that's the only other issue I think we need to work out.
Probably before you start the drywall and everything, if you have that issue, I would get them up there to look at it
First,
before we do
yes.
drywall or electrical, and see what can be done, or if anything can be done.
Yes, yes.
Have you asked Pat about it too? I mean,
Yes, yeah, he was gonna have, whoever was working on the small courtroom come up and take a look, which I think that they might have done on the day when I wasn't there. But I haven't received word on like how much that might cost or what our options would be for heating and cooling it. But, I'm happy to get more bids if you guys want me to, if that's necessary, or whatever I need to
Yeah,
do.
typically, we like to have at least three,
At least 3? Okay.
just on something like that to make sure that we're carrying apples to apples.
Sure.
And understand, as a county, we do not have to go for low bid.
Okay.
But it was
Okay.
nice. I think it's important that the public see that we're trying to,
Yes.
multiple bids so that we try to get the best deal.
Sure, yeah, so I'll work on getting a couple more bids and then come back and see if we
Thank
can do that.
Great.
That's all I have today.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sure, I'll take it if you don't mind.
And Bethany, specifically that. So 2 years ago, there was $50 million put aside for, out of the gambling for whatever the state felt they needed to do with this. And so if you reference maybe that
Yes,
in the lottery to the senator would be important.
sure.
That way they know where that funding was supposedly could come from.
Okay, yeah.
Representative Bearcamp knows that too, so the
Correct.
touch base with him, with Francis, and because
Correct.
he had written legislation 2 years ago, I believe it was, wasn't it?
You said air camp?
Yeah,
I
okay.
agree with him.
Sure. I'm happy to reach out and let them know our need, obviously.
They ended up just absorbing the entire $50 million into the state budget, but
Oh,
so it builds up over time.
yes,
And so I think he felt like there was a good need for that in this county and other counties north of here.
yes.
So anyway,
Okay,
thank you.
yeah, well, I'll reach out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. I entertain a motion to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege for 10 minutes for claims against the county.
Move that we go into executive session for the purpose of attorney-client privilege for discuss claims against the county for a period of 10 minutes starting at 9:48. Return at 9:58. With the meeting back in this room to include our attorney and Christie, our clerk.
I'll second.
It's been probably moved second to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege, file claims against the county. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I want to get up there where I can hear.
All right, I got 10 o'clock. Kevin, you want to come on up?
We know why we're here. Felt this termination was wrong. One-sided. Nobody has yet asked me my side of the story. Period. Started off as a question, immediately got heated. Lasted about 3 minutes. I walked away from it. The other individual was following me, trying to stay engaged, to go on to arguments. But what I said was what I said. Questioning about his performance on W Road. And the way he treats other people. You can't go around ratting people out when all you can do is go talk to them. But I know Christie didn't fire me. This letter came from Christie, no one else's name is on it. No one has signed it, no one's listened to me. So my question is, why is, there were 2 people in that argument, why is one fired and one still has a job? That doesn't seem like due process to me. There's arguments every day at the workplace. You worked a good year, how many years?
42.
You seen that, didn't you? if someone was running HR over a little thing, what was their status in the workforce? People don't want nothing to do with it. They won't talk, they're not gonna associate with you if you're gonna perform like that. This group out here is a good group of people, and they try to do a good job. When you're dealing with a toxic work environment, worry about your job every day, looking over your shoulder thinking someone's sneaking up on you, or running to the top dog and reporting on you. It makes the morale go south real fast. You know, I just asked him that day about Debbie, but he blew up. And so did I. But I said what I had to say in about 3 minutes' time and I walked away. But I didn't run to HR and tell them. I didn't run to the boss and complain. Between two I thought was adults talking about the project. We hauled rock on that road for 5 miles. We knew we could. Coming up there, I tried to call him on the radio. He never answered his radio. It was too late to get on the cell phone. We put the rock where it ended the day before. We know what we're doing. 2 more rounds, we'd have your rock all 2 inch on that road. It would have been done that day. But the disruption showed up when the road foreman on that project changed. I bounced him about it. But I got fired and he still got his job. And I wasn't arguing by myself. I don't feel due process is done. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. My file's clean, there's not a write up in my file anywhere. Any negativity. 8.5 years I've been pretty dedicated to do the best job I can. You get along with everybody, try to. We all work together, we all take care of each other. But one bad egg, ruined. I'd like to be reinstated. I feel it was wrong. You kept one guy on, fired one other guy on hearsay. That doesn't seem like due process to me. You offend me, should I run down and tell Tim Morris to have him come arrest you? Kind of the same difference, isn't it? There's a room full of people back here that feel the same way. The toxic work environment, it's getting to be too much. It appears that you have removed that part of the equation. I haven't been there 2.5 weeks, so I can't speak on what's removed. I haven't been there. But the matter at hand is my important. And I feel that if I got terminated, there should have been repercussions on the other side of the argument. And there was none to my knowledge. I'm asking you for me to be reinstated. Or other actions taken to equalize the situation. It's unfair. It wasn't handled right. And I'm pretty sure Matt didn't fire me because he was forced to. Like I said earlier, Christy didn't fire me. She wrote the letter. She had to. Scott had it out for me for quite a while. This was his chance.
Okay, we're not gonna go into any other personnel. This is your chance to say what you want to say. We're not gonna.
I'm saying I've been targeted for the last several years
Okay.
to be eliminated. And the chance came and they took it. But it was wrong. That's what I'm here to say. So I'm asking to be reinstated, asking for my insurance and my approved time to be reinstated right along with it.
Okay. I don't think that's gonna happen, Kevin. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Because
Because of the investigation that was done, and so we're just gonna leave it at that and take it under advisement, so,
nobody talked to me, so it wasn't much of an investigation.
okay? I'm not gonna get into it, this is gonna have to be, this personnel issue, so it's gonna be, I appreciate you coming in and state your piece, but this is a personnel issue, so we're not gonna get into it as far as that in the general public.
You said you wanted to have an open meeting,
Yes, sir.
and we had.
Okay, and yep, and like I said, I wanted you to come in, because you've been calling me, wanting me to talk to you on one-on-one, I said I would not do that, because that is not the way I operate. I appreciate you coming in and state your piece here in an open meeting, the three of us. And so now, we'll take it under advisement.
So Ethan can come and complain, and I can't. He was in the argument as well.
Okay?
Why was there any repercussions with that?
I can't answer that, I don't know.
Would that have been a show of favoritism?
I can't answer that, Kevin, I don't know.
either, but it wasn't due process. Mark. How would you feel? I mean, how would you feel if you were in your shoes? You were in my shoes. You're willing to let this stand.
Decision is made by the commission. The commission will determine what it will do. The chair does not on his own have an authority to do.
Well, I'm
And that's,
just
well, you've asked for your relief, you made your request, the commission will take it up in due course. If they act, they act, if they don't, they don't. So I'm not sure what else there is to say. I think they've given you a fair opportunity to say what they wanted to say.
Well, as the court, as law reads, isn't there due process in an
No.
investigation?
You don't have any due process rights, you're an employee. Employed at will, you can be terminated for any reason or no reason.
I see.
That's what the law says.
Doesn't classify as wrongful termination.
Well, wrongful termination is a term of art. It's not a due process claim. You made a specific statement about due process. This has nothing to do with due process. You have no due process right. You have no property interest in your employment. Now, whether it's wrongful termination under some federal law, that's a separate question. Somebody can take that up however they want, but this is not the venue for that action. That action is before the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Kansas Human Rights Commission. It's not here.
Well, as the handbook states, there will be an investigation and that sort of thing. And there hasn't been one. No one has asked me anything.
The policy manual is a policy manual.
And that's what it says in there.
Yeah, I understand, but that's not the law, it's a policy.
So by policy, why hasn't anybody come and spoke to me?
It was,
The investigation.
I don't know. Maybe it was not necessary because your termination was decided in an appropriate manner. It didn't require an investigation.
Okay. Well, that's all there is for today. That's what there is today.
That's it.
Thank you, Kevin, appreciate you coming in. being added to the agenda. I didn't entertain a motion to add Kurt to the agenda.
So, second.
And probably moving second to add Kurt to the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Just need your signature, that's it.
What am I signing?
Don't just ask questions later. Just sign. No, they're just contracts this year.
Oh, Park Coast.
Purpose.
You
Turned out well Saturday, Saturday.
Well, the weather was excellent.
The only drawback was they wanted to have, they should have had the observatory open. Didn't even think about it.
I'm gonna make a correction here.
Oh. Well, in my defense, I didn't,
I always have you initial up. Make it all nice and legal, right?
absolutely.
All right. Basically the same contract as last year?
Yes, nothing's changed except for the names.
Okay.
On the south side.
All right.
That's not good.
Yep, we got a couple out of Arizona that had emailed me and said that they stayed with us 2 years ago and really enjoyed the park, and that if Camp Rose position ever happened to open up, and he listed off his credentials on the bottom, I'm like, about overqualified. Yeah.
There you go, sir.
That's nice to get that though, because obviously it says something about the way you keep it, so.
Yep.
No, it's,
Yeah.
So get ready to start the big push for the season?
we got all the spots in, all the new spots, everything's bored in, so we're good to go for the season.
That's nice.
Got some rock down, just for the Richard will come out and do some measuring. We're gonna get some dust control down again this season. And,
I think mine's coming out today.
yeah, there's gonna be kind of spread out some things, I think, a little bit with having some 150 amp,
Right.
pull throughs.
Yeah.
But are you ready for dust control? Or do you
I
still
won't
prep?
once Brandon gets, I make Brandon go out and look at it first and make sure I don't need any gravel in any underlying area. Yeah, mostly
Or
yes.
you might reach out to Joe?
Yeah, because Brandon's not back until
This was back next week.
next week.
No, I was just talking to Joe, but he goes, yeah, whatever works. I just want to make sure, before we
prep
spend
it
the
with-
money on it, I just want to make sure it doesn't need a little bit of jagged gravel here or there.
Do you prep it with your sport conditioner, or do you have
I can, but a blade with that deal on the front of it's pretty quick. He just makes it pass, one pass in, and
Okay.
yeah, they're usually pretty quick with that. So,
The insurance people get a hold of you.
yes, he's quick. Shoot.
Really?
Yeah. I was there within 30 minutes. He had emailed me back and he said, go ahead with any repairs needed, and I added a little bit more information I had to give to him to, but other than that,
Just want to make sure you have been contacted.
yes. Yep. That's all I need. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir.
Yep.
All right, Todd, you're up.
Okay. Well, you heard, I call it the answer machine, so I have to work on that a little bit. Truck route, I think I checked again on that, and I think before I was kind of concerned about the fact that we didn't have like a weight limit justification for it, but I think that the way the statute actually reads, after carefully parsing it, I think it's okay. So I'm not worried about that part of it. Subsection C of that statute, 1912C, and it gives you the authority when you look at a different section, which I didn't add to that, which is section 8, 2002. So, authority-wise, I think you're okay. Is that special signs?
This is a different sign, but yes, same location. So the other sign, because the haul route to the quarry it's on 142, the sign was put up there to try to keep trucks from going a different route to the quarry and use the actual haul route that is designed for that. And it's completely missing. And did you talk to KDOT?
I've tried to contact him, haven't got anything back yet, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I talked to Tim Morris this morning, and he said we just need to have some sort of resolution so that we can have something that's law.
Is there an already resolution on that? I thought there was.
A resolution on that road?
Yeah. Well, on the route. Or do we not?
There is on 142. There is not.
Okay, yeah,
This
you're
is
right.
just 134th where the new welding shop's going to be. And that was, somebody brought that up to Mark about enforcing the same restriction due to safety of crossing 75 highway and turning south with semis. They get a lot of semis in. So, and the owners of that will all, he said, we're going to encourage people to go north, make their turn, and go back south, because there isn't enough room for a semi to be in the middle of that if they have to stop.
So the crossing on the highway is 134th.
And 75.
75, so they're routing north to
150.
150, to the overpass.
then south. Okay. Is that the same as the other one?
The other one basically states that. I don't know the exact wording, but
Yeah,
it
well,
tells all trucks they need to go north,
but it is 150, right?
the overpass,
Okay.
before they go back south.
Gotcha.
And it's just a safety factor that we're trying to, encourage, so we don't have any.
There'll be plenty of them that'll ignore it, but
Yeah.
if there's an accident, there was an accident a few years ago where actually a smaller semi-tractor trailer pulled across there and had to stop in the middle, and he was still out in the driving lane, and a minivan hit a loaded semi and killed her instantly. So it's not that it doesn't happen, it's just when is it going to happen?
Then we had Solar Township had an accident out there where they really banged up, so even a dump truck was bad.
Very nice.
See you go.
So add another resolution on that. Okay. So, sales tax.
Yeah.
2 questions. You got down to the question of whether you can rescind the sales tax resolution that passes after it's passed. And I think the answer to that is no. Meaning if you go to the full, establish it through resolution, election succeeds, it's imposed, and then a year later you feel better of it, and the other thing passes, there's no statute on it, but there's an Attorney General's opinion which basically says they don't think you can do it. And I think it makes sense to me because I think the election part of it
Makes it fine.
yeah, you just can't do that. So I think you are in a position where if it has, one this time around, that can't be undone. But I think the only thing I can think of to get around that is that the legislation that's drafted could overcome it. And I'm trying to figure out what the comfort level would be with different language, but I would say, something like if you could, the legislation would say it's up to 5%, and then for however long, the county may pass a supplemental 0.1 to equal 5, and then it's a pain in the butt.
I struggle with that in the sense that I'm not sure you get 2 of those passed. I don't care if it was for $12,
Yeah.
The other piece of that is that the goal was to determine that it's for gravel only, and the incorporated cities would not get any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if people want tax relief, we've got, there's, sales tax is the only thing that we have at this point. And so, I would rather take the chance, this is just me,
I know, just get ready to go there.
to let it die, get new legislation, starting in January, and hopefully be able to have the election in March, possibly, and then receive the first quarter of that in the last quarter of 27. And it's gonna make our budget extremely tight. And, I mean, we're just gonna have to, if people don't want to pay more property tax, which I understand, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. And there may, and I've said this before in other meetings, there may be layoffs because nobody wants to pay more money, and they want us to operate a county at the same level or better with less money. And it just doesn't work that way.
And I'm in agreement with you as far as letting the 4% sunset and getting the legislation through. If Francis says that he can get through in January, I'm going to trust him on that he can push it through. And so that we can, like I say, have the election in March.
Does that give you enough time? If it,
It's gonna get really close.
say,
I think he has to have it to the registrar by the end of February to their desk in order for you to be able to put it on a March. And you'll have to do some research.
Yeah, well, it's always the calendar quarter after the certification, but not right then.
Well, what I would probably do is I'm not gonna program any of my machines. We would just do like maybe a photocopy.
just
official
paper ballot.
ballot, and then we would hand count. Because we're gonna have to pay for the election. So
Yeah.
we keep our costs down. Try to keep it as
Maybe you could combine some
low as we can.
of those things together.
What do you think, Linda?
That's fine. Yep, no problem.
And that may make the second one easier to handle because it's a bit tortured, but essentially this is, we're talking about the cities and what they get invested in, and that it's county-wide, and what does that mean? And this is a pretty odd situation, only in the sense that the statute says that it's county, the general thing is countywide means county, meaning that the city can get a portion, part of it, and that's what the statute says. It says the Department of Revenue says they sit and do calculations like you did back in that you set up, according, half of it according to population count, half of it according to appraised value. And they divide that. But that's not you guys. You did something different, and this one actually divided up manually, which, I mean, KDR doesn't care what, I suppose, what you do with it after they turn it over to you in some respects, as long as the statutes comply with it and it's used for what it's used for. So, the specific provision of the statute that allowed you to levy this tax was one of the ones that was excluded from the statute that mandated division or left it alone to the county. So that was another gloss on it because the majority, the vast majority of the taxes they impose go only to the counties. And it says something to the effect of that. In terms of it too. Is this right? 12-192 is my statute. Sorry, wrong one. Twelve 187 subsection G. Subsection 2, G2 says, in addition to the requirements set forth in the prior paragraph, the governing body of the county proposing to levy a countywide retailer sales tax shall include as part of the ballot proposition whether the apportionment formula, meaning the division that is discussed, would be used, would apply to the revenue. You say you're now required to state in it that you're going to KDR is going to divide it between the county and the city, or that the county retains the revenue in its entirety. And that was added in 2021, so your original ballot language didn't require at the time. So they have amended it now to review your ballot language. You would state in there what the intention is. Right, so since we're aiming now to get a new statute, what you would do at that point in the creation of it is say, this is all under the county. And if you say that in statute, they would amend that provision of the statute too that says to show that you do get retained, right? And then you would put in the ballot language according to that if you are retained. So that would
From
be,
my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, it was, and then I'm looking at 12-187 B13, whatever, where it says that, already said in there, that the revenue received from therefrom for the purpose of financing public infrastructure projects. That's the same thing they said in 2005, but what they, well, according to the newspaper article,
well, it was for economic development too. I think.
well, there was that 0.1% for the economic development. What I'm saying is, though, the city commission at that time agreed to divvy it up amongst the county and these. But is there an actual? Is there any kind of a document that was signed by the county and the cities that said that, or was it just, yeah, we'll do it?
No, it's, I think what happened was the money all came to the county.
Yes.
The county just chose,
Right, according to this, they would
made
choose to give.
that decision.
But is there any kind of a document that said that the county and the city signed to give that?
No, my understanding was the way it was presented to the voters at
Correct.
voting time,
Okay.
was the cities would get part, but that's not how it read.
That's not how it read, correct?
The county upheld what they said.
Yeah,
But I don't think there's any.
We had to give it to the cities, but we did.
and that was what, 21 years ago, and I think that, you know, times have changed. I think what would be the recourse for us just to say about the 4%, just all coming back to the county?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, barring an agreement, I don't know how it would live longer than the initial 7 years. If there is no agreement, then it's just, you know, a matter of grace by the county to give them that money. And there's a, you know, valid point in here that there's representation made, but, you know, at this point, if it's all clear, that's what I mean. If you guys were to reinstate this right now, you know, vote it for next year or whatever, to renew the 4%, the 0.4, you would need to say in the statute that we were going to keep it.
Why, no. Why would we need to say in the statute that we would?
Well, I mean, you
because
say
it's
the
already
ballot.
stated in there.
On the ballot.
We would need to notify the cities that they're not going to get their portion of that anymore, but it's already stated in there that it goes for public roads, gravel, infrastructure, so we wouldn't have to do that.
So what you're saying is, put it on the ballot for August 4th,
Well,
and just redo the 4, and with something being sent out to all incorporated cities saying,
Yes.
no longer will you be receiving this 0.04%
Yes.
sales tax in the future.
So they don't budget for it.
Well, I think I'm getting two questions here. What we're doing now or what we're gonna do? Okay,
So what we're doing now, we have the authority, without legislation, to put it on the August 4th primary,
Yes.
to reinstate that for another 7 years. We also have the authority to be able to send a letter out to all incorporated cities and say you will no longer be receiving sales tax money for the next 7 years if this is passed,
from this.
from this 0.4%.
Yeah, and you would have to indicate on the ballot measure itself that the county is retaining the money.
That's correct.
Okay, so that was my
Okay,
trick.
then what, okay, hang on, I'm still confused here. Since this had nothing to do with the ballot initiative to begin with. It was presented that way to the county. But it was written, from my understanding, from looking at 12-187, that it was specifically for financing public infrastructure, which is exactly what it says up farther in the statute. If it says that it's for this,
Okay.
so
Track
explain
with
this to
me
me.
one thing. The last time you passed this was 2019, right? 2021, the statute was amended, and that added, it amended subsection G of 187.
Okay,
And that's what I'm referring to. It doesn't matter what you did in the past, because that statute now applies and says you have to say in the ballot measure language what you're going to do.
I think it's only
for public infrastructure,
Well,
correct?
for any purpose that a vote is issued,
But
right?
it's gonna be for a specific thing that we do not have to split.
It doesn't have to be a specific, the thing I'm saying is you have to do it for a specific thing. Separate from that, you have to say the county will retain all proceeds
correct.
which wasn't done, which didn't need to be done.
Okay,
It was just assumed that that was gonna happen, and then you guys ran into what happens when you don't, right? You thought, people thought that, and, I mean, I think it's
Only fair.
it's, something you should do, to send them a letter saying, this is gonna be different, just so they know, and.
Right, because they're gonna be
so they
doing
don't
budgets.
budget for it.
Yeah,
They're gonna be doing budgets just like we are, and they'll even know that to factor that in.
yeah, and that's all fair, it's just not required, by statute. So, just like your division of it's not required. And so, looking forward, one way or the other.
Just like the state of Kansas was not required to send us a letter saying we chose not to pass any legislation in the state of Kansas for sales tax.
Yeah.
So,
So the point,
Prevention.
0.04, we wouldn't have to take back to legislation, we could just go
Just do it, assume
put
they
it on
did.
the ballot and go right.
Yeah, as long as the election is done and it's in place before they come back, and if they were to undo it, then obviously that would be a problem 7 years from now. But I understand you're gonna let it ride and do that.
I think that would be the best way to do it, honestly,
Which,
to go ahead and put it on the ballot as a 0.4, send the cities a letter saying they will no longer, if this passes, they will no longer be receiving their, whatever formula Liv came up with,
that portion.
Any part of it.
for their portion of the 0.4.
One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to see what those numbers are, so that we can, what are we sending them now? I know the city of Holton receives the largest amount, and it's, on an annual basis. I'd like to know what those numbers are so that we can calculate whether it makes sense to get new legislation or stick with what we're doing.
Yep, well, it just be clear, it's not gonna change the requirement, right? If you get a new, assuming you get a new statute passed that says 0.5, I'm assuming you won't change anything about having to notice it the way we talk. So it'll just be, when that comes up, the ballot's gonna say this is gonna be retained by the county. And, it still would be nice probably to send a letter to the cities, because
Well, sure. Yeah.
they may think, well, it's just changing it, 0.1, so why would they not give it to us again?
Yeah.
Good.
Right,
Yeah. So,
which I think Ally said that on paper too.
I've got a lot of random stuff on my computer through the years with the sales tax, I'm sure. I think I even noticed around how much the cities receive.
Right.
So, I don't know, it's probably a few years ago. But I can run over to my computer and find it for you. I think that's the most one.
What's that?
It's
I think I did, it's an Excel set spreadsheet. So, this is there. Let's see how we do it. There's ad valorem tax amount in here. And then there's population.
0.4%.
What do you mean?
So,
So where'd this 100,000 come? This, I think this is just a. Is this, where'd you get this sheet from?
Hold on, let me get it. This is a. Look at that instead.
there.
So the cities for that year got this,
For which year?
for 2019.
Or is that between all?
Oh,
I'm just gonna do like a year when we have 13 to 19.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna do a year when we have everybody.
No, mine's was every year.
Yeah, so. So in 18, we distributed $156,088 to the cities. That was for a full year.
How much did you retain?
How much did we retain? We retained $422,159. I mean, it's gone, you can see here, it's gone up every year since 13 when this report was made.
That's the month, 18 was the most.
18 was the last, no, what, on what I'm looking at here for 4% sales tax, 18 was the last year in the NP that they had, that we had for a full year. 19 is not a full year on this report.
We don't have last year's, I mean, is that,
That's older, yeah.
Yeah, that's older, but I'm just trying to guesstimate, you know, so we retained 422,000, we paid out 156,000, let's try to get a.
Actually, if you read it on your sheets.
Yeah, that's just giving us a rough idea right now of what we're looking at. So.
see right now.
So we're almost distributed, and what I'm looking at here down at the bottom, we're distributing about 25% of what we would retain to the city. I guess it's 27%.
52 for last year.
Okay.
The monthly, what we've been putting in there is 50, in the 0.4% is 52.
It varies from like 49 to 58. That's where it's been
So
coming
if it's
average.
50. So with that addition, if the numbers are just rough, and we added that roughly 25% in, you can purchase an additional 6,500 ton of gravel annually.
Mm-hmm.
Better than nothing, but
Yeah.
it'll be what it's gonna be.
So let's say we get a little bit firmer numbers on there and then figure out if we're going to do it 1.4% or go ahead and let it sunset and get the legislation pushed through for the 45.
Our sales tax in the county is 2% less than Shawnee County right
I
now.
believe so. I just saw some, well, it depends on where you are in Shawnee County. Like,
Sure.
yeah, because they
They
got
have
special
to.
use districts and all that good stuff, so, because I saw one thing the other day about paying 10.87% in one spot. So,
That's fine. Just-
How much lead time do you think you need for a primary ballot question? And it's not tough, it's just a resolution, so. I'm assuming that you're the one approving the ballot language. I always have to worry about that as a city. Well, yeah. I get to write my own ballot language and I approve it.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
I'll have to look for a special election and see if the time frame is the same. I need to work on that for publications.
Yeah.
How many weeks before we need to publish?
It was 10 weeks.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know for sure that would approve my comments.
Do you know?
Yeah, fall like this November.
Representative Arquette has running against him.
And consider ballot can do it too. Well,
I mean, you know, we need to have a backup plan too, if that was the case.
the other option is too, I think there's a third option to consider because we took $300,000 out of the budget last year out of rock to be revenue neutral. The other option is to raise it clear to 4% and put it on the ballot. Generate about 1.5 million. There has to be a point where people realize that, okay, if you want rock on the road, it can come through ad valorem property tax, or it can come through a sales tax, or it doesn't come at all.
mm-hmm.
And so when it doesn't come at all, here's what it's going to look like. There's just going to be less rock to put on these roads. So I think there's actually three choices here. Because in 5 years, we've seen rock go up $10 a ton.
Yep.
Actually, a little more than that. But it's really what can the community, the public, the taxpayers stomach. Me personally, I like knowing that approximately 30% of that will be paid for by people who don't live in this county, traveling through, whatever. As opposed to just putting that burden on people who own property.
Right.
Too bad.
If I just do a paper ballot. You just hand them everything.
Okay, so other questions about that? Right. Well, that was what I had on my list, just other than the usual assurance, so I don't know if you had something come up. Or questions?
I'd like an executive session if we could for contract negotiation.
Attorney-client privilege for contract negotiation.
Yeah. And then we go into executive session for contract negotiation, attorney-client privilege, contract negotiations for 15 minutes, starting at 10:48. Return here at 10:02, 10:03.
Great.
3.
Second.
Christie?
Include Christie, yeah.
Okay, so properly moved second to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege, contract negotiations for 15 minutes. To reopen this chamber. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Another house fire, possibly those small one. City Hall. The one down here, Pennsylvania.
Oh, the 2 house fires?
It's just one.
We're gonna, we're gonna send the property tax back, or we're gonna, just on the house, is this a house fire for the property tax?
Yeah.
Or is it the 15%?
No, this is, rebate amount for the house fire.
Okay.
So all the way up there. And I know, I've seen houses.
And she's got her estimate for the builder.
They're trying to rebuild it. So she actually got 2, one for mitigate, reconstruct. One to tear down, rebuild, which is a lot cheaper. So this is the first one of these I've done. Now, how does this work?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's the first one I'm doing. So I think if you guys approve it, that we're moving forward to it, then I think we take it to Steve, and he goes down and looks at it and assesses a percentage of what he thinks the taxes should be.
Okay.
I mean, the other one we had is 100%, we'll do that one. But this one, I don't know, it's gonna be 50%.
Okay. I'll pass this down for everybody to look at.
I don't think we do a whole lot of these.
Because what is it?
It's that disaster abatement for the house fires in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
I think we only did what we did workshops one time.
Because didn't we do this for St. Louis?
Yeah, that was a pretty
Yeah, that was a,
complete district.
right.
But this one, I think we'll have to get a percentage on.
Okay. Unless if they decide to go and rather than mitigate and rebuild, if they decide to just tear it down, then would that change things? I think we need to know which way they're gonna go before we do anything. Wouldn't you agree on this, property tax for the house fire down here in Pennsylvania? She's got two bids. She's got one to mitigate and rebuild, and she's got one to demolish and nuke. I would think we would need to know which way before we agree to anything on here for property.
Yeah, I guess she would need to understand that if she's gonna do a full remodel and tear it all down, she would get more money back than if we just gave her a partial. And if we're gonna go out there now, it would just be a partial.
Yeah.
So yeah, once they make a decision, then I think that's when send Steve out to verify it and go from there. We've got a dated document, so we can always backdate. So that's not a problem, it's just we need to know what they're gonna do.
but you wouldn't just take the value that it had and back off how many months and
Well, to me, that's what I
you
think.
could go that route? That's what I think, no matter what.
It's
See,
not,
I've never done it.
it's not a monthly thing, is it? I mean, as far as the taxes are concerned. I mean, it's assessed when it's assessed. And
I think you'd prorate it that way.
So they had
I
to,
mean, whether it's torn down or not, this house is not livable. I mean, it's not worth anything.
Well, I mean, that's,
so you just prorate taxes for the number of months.
That's
left
what
in the tax year.
that's what I think, but I don't know, I guess that's probably Kate's
Until it's rebuilt,
or
Or redone.
redone.
rebuilt.
I mean, that's probably Kate's call. I don't know.
that's what I would say.
You think it's Kate's call because she's the appraiser, so.
It was burned down.
Probably between Kate and
Last
Steve,
month.
maybe. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, well,
I mean, I really think it's probably Kate's call.
yeah, it's definitely Kate's call because I think
Right.
it's time statutory, the time statutory starts January 1. And I think she can prorate it, she can't go back to 25 and do it.
Okay. I'm fine with having Kate take a look at the document and make a determination.
I'm not sure which way to go, and what we need to do. Never having seen one.
Yeah, I think we just wait for Kate's recommendation. Table it until next week. Or if she's available, she can come down now.
And have we had any more communication with the tribe?
No, but if not directly. So,
Okay.
we got it looks like they've been connected up with the right people that came out. So, Joe emailed me something where they're going back and forth. We're just trying to, the next step is for me to write that MOU, so.
Okay.
So just structuring it in my head and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Okay.
And that's on my list with the procurement policy, and mid-states/hands. Track down a live body and hands would be fun. Right back, point of personal privilege.
Here's some sales tax numbers for cities for 2025. I made a copy, you can
Thank you.
I keep everything. See you guys.
So then for 2025, excluding December, 11 months worth, we distributed $215,701.91 to the,
It's probably closer to 250.
so for the 11 months, she's got down here, for the 11 months, we got $587,485 and had your 215 on it, it's 803,187.
It's probably closer to 875
Yeah.
by the time you got 12 months involved. I'm fine with putting it on August and just retain it all.
I think that would probably be the easiest thing to do. Rather than trying to get the legislation pushed through, because if it doesn't get pushed through and we get put behind, then it's just gonna kind of snowball.
Yeah, and basically it's leaving it the way it is
And just retaining it all.
and retaining it all. Yeah.
That would be easier on the clerk to get that on
Yeah.
ballot.
That's what it's all about.
Anything else?
I don't think so. You got anything else, guys?
We're going to put it on the August ballot, so when we use the same wording that we used for the last one,
Probably need to change it, because I'm pretty sure we have the right stuff on
because I want to retain
it. Yeah, I mean, I think you could use the last one's template, we're gonna have to add a few things.
You might look back, Christie, and make sure that there is no written agreement between the county and cities. There is not.
everything.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Also, you never want to be dealing with city attorneys if you can help it. They're scoundrels.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. Have a good week, folks. See ya.
Have a good one. All right, everybody read the minutes for April 27th. Any corrections? If there's no corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April 27th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of April 27th, 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Look at that watch.
Yeah, we're around for
I am watching.
All right, anything else coming forward, sir?
I believe so.
Not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
Properly moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You see anything, Mabel?
It's good.
Linda, you said there's an email from the superintendent. There's Paul, there's last Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, I think it was. June.
I think it's Jim Howard.
Nice.
I think it's under Jim Howard.